Today we're going to create a personalized motion graphic. Begin by setting your composition to Full HD. Most of the tools you will use are directly in After Effects. You'll notice that I already added a few items to my project by dragging them into the project to begin with, then dropping them down on the timeline. For now, I'm going to leave them hidden and locked to protect them. Next, we're going to create a new solid. So to do this, I'm going to right-click, I'm going to go New, and I'm going to select Solid. It really doesn't matter what I name it for the moment or what color it is. We're going to use this solid as our background, and we're going to put a gradient ramp effect on it. To do that, I come over here to the right to Effects and Presets. There's a lot of options available, but if you type ramp, you'll see the option for a gradient ramp. All you have to do is drag and drop it onto your solid. If you look on the left, you can see the settings for it. Right now, the start color is black, the end color is white, and it's a linear ramp, which means it goes black at the top to white at the bottom. I can change where it's located by adjusting these settings as such. I can also change the color, so I'm going to go and select a dark blue, and my end color, I think I'll select a lighter shade of blue. And I don't want it to be linear, I'm going to make it radial so that it comes out from the middle. Next, I'm going to use the text tool to write my name. I click, I drag out a box, and all I have to do is begin typing. Make sure that everything fits in there. You'll notice this option right here in the middle, this little bullseye. This is what's called your anchor point. It's important that the anchor be in the middle of what you're working with because everything is going to move around that one position on the screen for that object. To get it exactly in the middle, you want to make sure that your text box is as close as you can possibly get it to the text itself. Same goes for any other object you're working with. Notice that when I went to the selection tool, it didn't change. If I hold the control and I double click on pan behind, it'll relocate it to the middle of my new box. Next, we're going to start manipulating this a little bit. If I click the drop down, you'll notice that I have a couple of options that open up. Under Transform, there's a number of features I can work with. I'm going to show you how to use the scale, but you can do the same thing with opacity, rotation, etc. To begin with, I'm going to click on the stopwatch. That adds a keyframe located right here at the very beginning. I can then take and change the size of my text. If I move the playhead forward and I click on the far left, this option that says Add or Remove Keyframe, I can then come back up here, enter 100%, hit Enter to accept it, and I've now got a really simple animation. I've added a few more animations to my text. You also notice that I have my artwork down here. I have my artboard, which is an item I created in Illustrator. I have a damaged wall JPEG, and I have a sound from bensound.com. I'm going to enable the wall and the sound to show you a couple of things. I'm going to use this wall to make my background look a little more interesting. If I come over and I click the drop down, I have my opacity setting. I can set that to 20%, and you can see my solid color through it at this point. You notice my gradient ramp is still visible, and this is a little more interesting than just a solid color. Another thing to realize is that I put background music in here. That would be the sound file that I took from bensound.com. Again, I have drop-down options. Underneath audio, there's one item that I can manipulate, and that's audio levels. Audio is measured in decibels, or dB. 0 dB means that there's no manipulation of the sound that you're working with. However, if you look all the way over here at about 3.12, you'll see that there's a keyframe. If that if you were to look at that keyframe, you would notice that I have 0 dB. All the way at the end, I added another keyframe, and I set that to minus 30 dB. What that's going to do is it's going to give me the effect of fading audio at the end of my animation. So I'm going to turn on my other layer, and this is what my finished animation looks like. Now that I've shown you how the basics work in terms of working with interpolations, it's your turn to give it a try. Have fun making your own personalized motion graphic. Try and add at least one effect, and try to put a couple of things in there that I haven't shown you yet.